Long before she became one of the most feared creatures in Greek mythology, Medusa was said to have been a mortal woman. Today, she is remembered as the snake-haired monster whose gaze could turn people to stone, but the story behind her transformation is far more tragic than many people realize. In ancient Greek tradition, Medusa was known for her extraordinary beauty. Some versions of the myth describe her as a priestess who served in the temple of Athena, the goddess of wisdom, strategy, and warfare. Priestesses of Athena were expected to dedicate their lives to the goddess and remain devoted to their sacred duties. Medusa's beauty was said to be remarkable, especially her long, flowing hair, which people often admired. But according to later retellings of the myth, her beauty drew the attention of Poseidon, the powerful god of the sea. Poseidon was one of the most influential and unpredictable gods in the Greek pantheon. Legends say that he became captivated by Medusa and pursued her relentlessly. One version of the story tells that Poseidon eventually encountered Medusa inside the sacred temple of Athena. What happened next would change Medusa's life forever. The act inside the temple was seen as a violation of Athena's holy sanctuary, and the goddess responded with anger. But instead of punishing Poseidon, the powerful sea god, Athena turned her wrath toward Medusa. In a moment that would define the myth forever, Athena transformed Medusa into a creature unlike anything the world had seen. Her beautiful hair turned into living, writhing snakes. Her face became so terrifying that anyone who looked directly into her eyes would instantly turn to stone. With this curse, Medusa was no longer a priestess or a mortal woman. She had become one of the Gorgons, a group of monstrous sisters feared across the ancient world. Banished and isolated, Medusa was forced to live far away from civilization. Over time, stories about her spread across Greece. Travelers and warriors spoke of a terrifying creature whose gaze could destroy armies and whose presence turned entire landscapes into fields of stone statues. Years later, the story of Medusa became tied to the legend of a young hero named Perseus. Perseus was the son of Zeus and a mortal woman, and like many heroes in Greek mythology, he was sent on a dangerous quest. The mission given to him was nearly impossible. He was ordered to kill Medusa and bring back her head. Facing a monster whose gaze could turn any living being into stone was a deadly challenge. But Perseus was not alone. According to the myth, several gods offered him help. Athena gave him a polished shield that acted like a mirror, allowing him to see Medusa's reflection without looking at her directly. The messenger, god Hermes, gave him a sharp sword capable of cutting through even supernatural creatures. Perseus also received magical items that allowed him to move quickly and remain hidden as he approached his target. Guided by these tools and the advice of the gods, Perseus eventually found Medusa in the place where the Gorgons slept. Knowing that looking at her face would mean instant death, he carefully used the reflection in his shield to guide his movements. As Medusa slept, Perseus approached slowly and struck with a single decisive blow, cutting off her head. But even in death, Medusa's power did not disappear. The myth tells that her severed head still carried the same terrifying ability to turn anyone who looked at it into stone. Perseus placed the head in a magical bag and used it as a weapon during his journey home, defeating enemies by revealing Medusa's gaze. Eventually, Perseus gave the head of Medusa to Athena. The goddess placed it on her shield, known as the Aegis, where it became a symbol of power and protection. Over time, Medusa's image appeared in Greek art, armor, temples, and protective symbols. Her terrifying face was often used as a warning to enemies or as a symbol meant to ward off evil forces. Today, thousands of years later, the story of Medusa continues to spark debate and fascination. Some see her as a monster, defeated by a heroic warrior. Others view her as a tragic figure, a woman whose fate was shaped by the actions of the gods. Whether seen as a symbol of fear, power, or tragedy, Medusa remains one of the most unforgettable figures in the myths of ancient Greece, a reminder that even the most terrifying legends often begin with a very human story.